Hey guys and girls, this is Noob Nerd here, and today we'll be looking at Luke Cage Season 2, and I'll be just giving my thoughts and opinions on it. And a few points before I actually get into the review, well not review, I think of it just as a summarization of my thoughts, hence the title. Well, a few points before I get into it is that I didn't finish Luke Cage Season 1, and I never had an incentive to actually go back and watch the final second half of it. Whether it was because of the quality or maybe it was just circumstances, bit of both. I don't know really. It was kind of after, I think it was after Cottonmouth blew up the diner. I think it was the episode after that. I watched that, but then that's it. I didn't watch that. And another point is that I haven't read any of the Luke Cage comics, so it's not really a good start for what I just said. If any of you are Luke Cage diehard fans, but the good news is, I watched everything from season 2 of Luke Cage, and I blooming loved it. I don't know what I mean. Yeah, I really did. I liked it more than I was anticipating. I thought I'd give it a go. I looked at, they have like a previously trailer, sort of summarizing everything that happened. So I just watched that and I just got into it because I had spare time, and I just went through it all. Like I think I had 2 episodes a day for like a week, and then I finished it in a matter of 7 days, obviously. So yeah, let's just get into it. I'm going to do it character by character, but of course some of that's going to overlap. But yeah, we're going to start with the main man himself, Carl Lucas, his actual name. I was watching a Variant video talking about the history of Luke Cage. If you haven't watched Variant, that's a very good channel for comic book knowledge and stuff like that. He said that that was the first time I realised that I thought that was getting my words mixed up, but that was the first time I found out that Luke Cage's name is actually Carl Lucas, and then my mind just blew up. I was like, holy crap! But of course, the show did explain it after. So yeah, and they really deal with that well. I like how his dad calls him Carl, and then everyone else just calls him Luke Cage. And at first, I was kind of like, oh, this name's a bit jarring, but I'm getting used to Carl Lucas as well as Luke Cage, so that's cool. So Mike Colter, he seems to be having a lot more fun here. I think that's part of the character. I think season 1, he was a bit more just hidden off, especially in Jessica Jones, obviously, when he was introduced. He just wasn't really embracing his superhero powers. He wasn't being a superhero. He was just a guy. But now, in this second season, he's really taking it to full force, and we see the consequences of that, good and bad, and what they can do to him, as well as everyone around him. Of course, by the end of the season, spoilers, I'm going to be going into spoilers, but I'm not going to reveal everything. Is this yeah, it's spoilers. Sorry, guys. It will be spoilers if you haven't watched it yet. But please, I do recommend watching this season. He does, of course, end up becoming the head of the club, Harlem's Paradise. What a set, by the way. I love that. I just love it. Every time we go to it, it just gets me all the time. And yeah, so is this a bad thing? Is Luke Cage going in the bad direction? Is he going in a good direction? This is very cool questions I didn't think they were going to ask in this season. This season really surprised me in terms of its characters. It's considering I missed half episodes with some of our characters, including Mariah Dillard and Misty Knight. I still got invested in them, and I got into new characters like Bushmaster and them lot. Shades, I think I saw him. He may have became a bit more charismatic by the half of the season 1 that I didn't watch. But when I was watching him in season 1, he wasn't really. He was just a guy in the shades. You know what I mean? He was just a guy with glasses. But here, he seems to be more having fun. That's the thing. It's just having fun. I was just It was invested, but it was having fun. It was just every time I watched it, I had a smile on my face. I was looking forward to every episode. It was really cool, and Luke Cage, he's having he's becoming a bit cocky, and we see his anger management issues. Not anger management. It's just that when you have powers, it's like when you're angry. That's blown up and emphasized more when you're angry with superhero strength and stuff like that. And of course, we saw that scene where he's punching the wall, and then Rosario Dawson, who plays Claire Temple, of course, goes away. And I think that was a good move in plot, as well as for character, because that gave Luke Cage something to think about, while also leaving the character of Claire Temple, who I think has been oversaturated in the Netflix shows. I think if they carried on with that throughout season 2, some people might have got a bit sick of her. That's in my opinion. If you love the characters, so be it. But apparently the actor doesn't want to be part of it as much or something like that. But nevertheless, I think it's a good decision. Focus on Luke Cage and his journey to almost redemption or not redemption. Does he I don't think, of course, if Claire came back, I think Claire did come back. I think they mentioned the line at the end when it was like, it's like, oh, Claire came into Harlem's Paradise while Luke is in there, and Luke's like, nah, forget her, send her out. So Luke Cage might have moved on. He's moved on, man. And his suit is so sick at the end, man. He's like looking at the camera. I'm like, I'm gassed, man. I'm gassed. I'm proud of him, man. I'm proud of him, in my opinion. But of course, someone else might be like, oh, I'm proud of him. But it's like, is he turning evil? But is this the only way he can control Harlem? Oh, it's very good, very good. So Misty Knight. Misty Knight. He was. I liked her in Defenders, but I wasn't really too invested in the character considering I didn't finish season 1. And I kind of forgot what happened. They really dealt with her losing her arm storyline very well. Just her getting pressure from the police, her police mates, trying to deal with just being forced to the background, but her going by herself independent when the police are telling her not to. It's very cool. Her new arm, I like how they don't go straight to the new arm. They just gradually build it up realistically until, of course, Danny Rand and Rand corporations give her metal arm again. It's so satisfying. And her and Colleen Wing, if you don't know the comics, what I do know from the comics is that Colleen Wing and Misty Knight, and both of them are very good, well developed characters. So they earn this in the show. When they develop characters individually and they come together, it's satisfying. I've said this before in other videos. But yeah, they come together and they're fighting. They're becoming acquaintances and becoming mates, and eventually they will form the Daughters of the Dragon, and we see that in Iron Fist. Former pictures, of course, plugged to my last video, that they will come together as the Daughters of the Dragon. I think a duo who just solve crimes, I think, something like that. That's going to be very satisfying. I really like the arc she went, her detective skills, I like that as well. Her working with Luke Cage, oh, she's not the psychic, Luke Cage is. Some good banter, I love that. Harlem banter is the best banter. That's what we like to see. So Shades, let's talk more about Shades and his relationship with Comanche, and I was researching Comanche and the actor Thomas Q. Jones, and he wasn't in it for the most part, obviously, but he's actually an American footballer, and he turned actor for footballer turned actor. You don't really associate sports people turning into actors into like mega stars, but like this guy, Thomas Q. Jones, who plays Comanche, is just a really good actor, and he makes good jokes. He's very good at being serious. You get sold on this previous relationship between Shades and Comanche, or maybe Comanche appeared at least once in a flashback in season 1, or maybe not. Apparently he was the guy that helped beat up Luke in prison. But yeah, from jokes such as, oh, the P word, Pussy, that must have been ridiculous. Like, oh, it's so funny. Of course, that really hard hitting scene, when they're in Pops, and it's just him and Shades just with their guns sitting there and just talking and just having a good chat. Like, it's just little moments like that in Netflix shows that really get to you. And of course, it all leads up to that tragic or not tragic, depending on your side of things, because you can almost root for the villains as well and root for them. And of course, Tom Riedenhauer, who's the police commissioner, gets involved in blackmail, or like of course, Comanche was the snitch, and Riedenhauer wanted more from him, but he was not willing to cooperate, and then of course they all got mixed up, and then they both ended up dead, and Shades had to make the ultimate sacrifice, and he lives with that, and that eventually puts his toll on him, and he becomes a snitch himself in some respects. So that's a very good arc. Some very cool arcs. Shades. What happens to Shades by the end? No, he gets thrown in prison as well, because police find a loophole in the contract or something they signed. So. But in the end of the day, what can you do? But I hope we see him in some respects, even if it's from prison. Now we move on to the villain. The villains in this. Mariah Dillard. Or Black Mariah. Or Mariah Stokes, as Bushmaster would like to say over and over again. That became a meme. A great meme. We'll talk about Bushmaster in a bit. But first we're going to talk about Mariah Dillard, who I think is the villain for... I think I would perceive as the villain for both of these seasons overall. She's like the overruling thing. She's like Kingpin. She's like the Kingpin of Luke Cage. You know what I mean? And she's a very good one at that. And she holds her own as her own character. And yeah, considering how they start in season 1, she's become more and more unhinged, but also she just feels freedom in just doing what she wants when she wants, even if it involves burning a whole man to death in a restaurant, which was a unsettling scene but very hard hitting scene, but of course in a different way. It's brilliant. And some people might say that her scenes with Shades went for too long and they didn't really buy the relationship. I bought the relationship a bit more, and I was excited when she was excited about getting this cash and stuff like this. I was personally into it, the scenes, and the more of her the better. She ends up dead, and for some reason I was really stupid. I didn't know how she died until they practically revealed it, or maybe not. But I like how she was trying to make it up to her daughter, and it didn't really work out. And I want to talk about that one scene where she basically reveals how her daughter was born, practically through sexual, rape, basically, yeah. There's no other way of putting it. And he gives no shit, if you know what I mean. Excuse my language, but she just goes in and she's like, "Your mistake," basically. That was such good acting, absolutely brilliant. I was literally in silence. It's just one of those things. I was literally in awe. You know when you're just watching, you're just silent. You can't even react. You're just there like, holy crap, what just happened? Wow. From both sides. And Tilda Johnson, who's actually a villain in the comics, and she turns out to be the villain at the end. And at the start, I thought she was a pretty wooden character. She's like, oh yeah, the typical daughter of the criminal. She doesn't want to be there. Oh, okay, we get it. It was only until she started hanging out with Bushmaster and Luke Cage respectively, she started to get more interesting. Hint at romanticism, hint at helping Bushmaster, being forced to help her, but also forming a relationship in some respects. Made her more complex, more interesting as the season went on. And of course, I really like her costume at the end, which is comics accurate, obviously, and with her little like bracelets. Not bracelet. I can't. Sorry, I'm not into this. But like her costume, and then when she walks into Harden's Paradise, of course, she's now more full of herself, and she's almost became a better version of her mom in her mind, which is very cool. And I hope we see more of her. And yeah, and she's probably going to be an antagonist next season. That's very cool. And that's mad how she killed her mom. But they earned that. They earned that very much. So brilliant. Then the relationship. I didn't really buy the relationship with the mom at the start, like the hateful relationship, as I said. But I did believe they were mother and daughter by the end, even if they grew apart and eventually forced one of them to die in the process, which is kind of sad. Speaking of dying, Bushmaster's mom died. And yeah, that formed, and it was like Mama Mabel was her name. That was the most ruthless way. You can tell she was the mother of Mariah, because she just, of course, to get rid of a problem in her eyes, she just saw people. Mama Mabel saw people as problems, and Bushmaster's mom was one, and just burnt the house and made it look like an accident. But of course, she was cocky. She revealed it was herself to the son, and the son grew up to try and burn her family, because she was already dead, obviously. So yeah, I like the flashbacks with John McCliver in Jamaica, and how he formed a relationship with his I forgot the other name, but like his associate and his uncle. And the uncle throughout the season was like telling Bushmaster, don't do this, don't do it like this. There was a real world element saying, oh, if you do this, you'll give us Jamaicans a bad name and we'll all get deported, basically. And that was a very cool real world spin, especially with the immigrant problems nowadays, and that was very cool. But also, this will, in the comic book, in the dramatic sense, that if John McCliver goes down this path, he can never go back, which seems just common in superhero movies and stuff like that, but they did it well here. And John McCliver did go down the rabbit hole, and he nearly got himself killed in the process. And of course, he was forced to go. And thankfully, he didn't die. Hopefully, he can also be one of those villains that come back again, just to try and take over. Maybe not. We'll see what happens with him and the Jamaicans. I forgot the gang name, but yeah, that's what happened. Other stuff. I go Luke's dad. Luke's dad, who's played by that good actor. I forgot his name, but he's in other stuff. He was also in that Fantastic Four movie. That recent Fantastic Four movie. I've never watched that, which apparently is crap. Unfortunately. So maybe I might just watch that for the band to see what happens. But he's a very good actor. I recognise him. And he came back. And at first I didn't think he was his dad, but at the start. But yes, they did reveal him to be his dad. Of course, him and Luke didn't have the best relationship. Of course, him not believing he was not responsible for the crime that got Carl Lucas in prison in the first place. And yeah, he's very cool. I liked his motivational speeches. He basically provided the wise old man role, but he did it so well, so could be stereotypical, but it works. And I also like the hints of him getting along with Mariah well. That's really cool. But of course, Mariah uses him to get photos of the young Luke, just to not terrorize, just take the piss. So yeah, it looks like him and even though Luke might have gone down the rabbit hole of becoming almost a gang leader or a criminal leader, almost riding that line. At least one good thing is that him and his dad are on good terms. That's very good to see. Sugar. Who's Sugar again? I don't know. Piranha. We have to talk about Piranha. Even though he appeared in a few episodes, he provided the funny element. It was just so funny. It's just his mannerisms. It's just so cool, man. You know what I mean? Like from the very second, it was so captivating to see on screen. And he brought in the heroes for hire element. And that brings me on to Danny Rand, and he was. I'll talk about his inclusion in this show in my last video. Another plug, but yeah, refreshing to see Danny Rand, Luke Cage, and him getting together. Very cool. I'll talk about that more in my last video. So if you want to know more about that, my opinions on that, go back there. And of course, that kid. I keep forgetting the name of the kid, but the kid who always sells Luke Cage's shirts and stuff like that. He's very funny as well. But at the end of the season, that's mad. He ends up leaving Luke Cage's side, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you going down. You're gonna control all of Harlem. You're becoming everything you sought to bring about. To bring." Basically, he leaves Luke Cage. You've probably seen it, but he leaves Luke Cage because he's going down a path that he can't follow. I'm quoting Padme from Star Wars, but you know what I mean. That really took me by surprise, but. Yeah, because he always marketed him as a hero, but he himself believed he was a hero in his own head. And it was kind of crushing to see him leave. And I kind of disagree with him. Different opinions, different good stuff. I get where he's coming from, though. That's the thing. Is Luke Cage doing a bad thing by the end of the season? I don't know. Is this going to end up costing him his sanity, his soul, almost? We'll see next season. This gets me very pumped for next season. I'm really excited. And I'm really excited with you guys to go down reviews of other Netflix shows, whether it's superhero or not. Thanks you guys for listening. I could talk about this. Well, if you want me to have a discussion down below, feel free to put your opinions down below if you liked it or not. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.